Hi, Chris.
Hello. So, welcome to Ferri Unfiltered. That was my smooth jazz voice there, Mandy. Did you like that?
Oh, I loved it. Thank you for
See?
having me.
That's okay. We better introduce you. You're quick off the mark there. I haven't even told them who you are. Right, so I have Mandy Tsang, and Mandy does own the famous company Sense Influence. Hello.
Hello.
Right, let's go for it, mate.
Okay.
Shows your mug.
Oh, there we go.
Nice. That dives us right in. Now, if you are listening on Spotify and SoundCloud, you won't have a clue what we're talking about. But if you're watching on YouTube, you get to see Chebs in a cup.
It's not even past the watershed, Chris. Come on.
Oh, sorry, we put it as X-rated, so you're okay. My cup looks pure shite now. Like I've got like an Iron Man mug with a chip in it.
You need to get either a Chebs mug or I don't know, a Bobby mug or something.
I don't want a Bobby mug. See that?
I'm not allowed to say that.
You can say that. It's fine. It's fine.
I'm going to find you one now. That's my mission.
I genuinely do not want a Bobby anywhere near my mouth, so I'm fine, mate. So it's fine. God's sake, we've started off well the day, haven't we?
I know, but it's me. You knew it was going to happen.
Oh, I knew. To be honest, I don't even know this woman. No, I mean, I'm kidding.
Lies.
No, so me and Mandy go well back. I mean, Mandy is beautiful. She's smart. She's intelligent. I'm just reading my phone here, the list of things you asked me to say, Mandy.
Just make sure you get them all in.
Is that? I don't have Let's go for it, right? So, obviously, I'm getting you on the show. I love what you do. I think it's brilliant. I think it's, again, like following the rest of the podcast, I think it's inspiring. I think you're a very inspiring woman. I would love for the guests to know more about your business, and I'd also love them to know more about why and the reasons behind you starting. I love a good story. You know I love a good story. But I love a good reason. And the thing is, I think your company is very, very, you should be very, very proud of it. So let's go for it. What do you do, Mandy?
What do I do? So I am essentially, I'm a bra fitter. I fit boobs, fit bras. So yeah, I have a lingerie company and I specialise in post-surgery and mastectomy fittings. And I've been doing that for the past 3 years now. Right, so okay. It's something that I am very, very passionate about. And that's mainly because of experiences that have happened sort of within my family and with my mum. So where do I start? I'll start with the fact that I've always been interested in lingerie. Right. So for me, it's always been a big, I know for some people, they're like, how do you get into that? But I don't know. It's just something that I've always been really interested in and really intrigued by. Right. So this is me going way back. This is me starting on a tangent already.
No, it's good though, because see, when you say lingerie, I mean, you're just going to have people going like, what do you mean? And then it's like, there is more to lingerie. I mean, there is. I say that like I'm a pure connoisseur. Like, I don't want people to start thinking I'm a pure creep. By the way, listen to him. But no. But after speaking to you, there's actually a lot more about it. You actually explained very well to me, being a gym owner, about female members and training. Like that was a whole concept that I didn't even consider. And like as a guy, well, I suppose you don't. But then you explained it very, very well, and you're like, actually, that's actually pretty smart. So you could actually get more out of your training by wearing the right like bra, for instance.
Massively.
So, there you go.
Yeah. But basically, I was actually thinking about this today and what I was going to say, and something I've probably not really told people, but I remember when I was younger, and I was really young, and I remember getting this Minnie Mouse crop top. This is how young I was.
Right, okay.
And I remember it being lilac, and it had stripes, and there was like the tiniest bit of lace on it. And I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is so pretty. And I was so young at the time, but that's always stuck in my head. And ever since then, I've always just really thought, I don't know, I've always just been into really like nice underwear, not in like a kind of creepy pervy way, but I've always appreciated it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that always went into my teens. And even when I was a teenager, like for my birthday, my friends would buy me underwear. Rather than, most teens are probably asking for like a bottle of Glen's vodka and whatever else, like, but I'm like, oh yeah, can you get me bras and pants, please? So anyway, that goes into my teens, and then when I was 13, my mum was diagnosed with breast cancer.
Okay.
And that's kind of what's led me to what I'm doing today. So at 13, when my mum was going through that, I was probably shielded from quite a lot. Mm-hmm. And I didn't really know the full extent of what was actually happening at the time. But a few years went by and got to about the age of maybe 16, 17. And that's when my mum asked me to help her try and find some bras. So my mum had a mastectomy.
Okay.
So I start helping her. I'm looking online, trying to find mastectomy bras. And it was really hard, really, really hard. And we ordered a ton of bras from, I think there was only like a handful of sites available at the time. Okay. And it was very limited, but I remember ordering loads and we ended up sending them all back. And we didn't know where to go, who to ask for advice, anything. We were kind of left to our own devices. And I just remember thinking, it shouldn't be this hard. You know, it really shouldn't be this difficult. Mm-hmm. For women who haven't had surgery, we take it for granted that we can walk into a store and buy a bra that fits us and we don't have to worry about too much, you know, or we can go online and buy bras that fit us and not have to think about other things. And for women who have had surgery, that unfortunately is just not the case. And it certainly wasn't the case back then. So that was going back to 2002. So anyway, that always stuck with me. And I just remember thinking, this isn't right. And I need to do something about this. Mm-hmm. And I remember speaking to my younger brother at the time, and I'm like, this isn't fair. This isn't fair. Mum shouldn't have to go through that. I'm going to do something about this one day. And you know that way when you're a teenager, like, or a late teen, you think you can take on the world and you're going to change the world because you just feel such an injustice.
Aye, totally.
So that's kind of where I was at. And I went to uni, studied marketing and business. I did my dissertation on women who had surgery, the buying behaviour of women who had surgery for breast cancer.
Wow.
And I loved it. I had focus groups, different studies, and it kind of ignited like a fire in my belly.
Good.
So I didn't really do anything with it at that point. So finished uni and I went and got a job and I ended up in new product development for hair and beauty products. So I was taking products from concept to shelf and I loved that job. Mm-hmm. But
I remember you doing that.
It was never my dream job. And I always remember, and I don't know if you've ever had this as well, Chris, but see, being your own boss, I feel like it's something that's either in your bones or it's not.
100%.
And you know from an early age, like whether that's where you're going to end up or not.
Aye. I completely agree with you. It was what you said just there, like it was like something you always remember that makes you go, I always remember being in Latin. I was in Latin and they were doing a member for the Millennium and they says write down, and I get chose to be one of them to write down in this case thing that we're putting in the ground, the Versal Academy, and they says, what you're going to do when you're older? And I says, I'm going to have something with my name over the door. They went, you mean? I said, it's just going to say Ferri. And they went, what's it going to do? And I went, I don't know. They went, but what's it going to? I was like, I don't know. I says, but it's going to say Ferri something. It's going to do something. She's like, you need to have it. I was like, I don't know yet, but I'll find something. And I knew this, and it was like my nono and all that were all self-employed. My dad didn't want to be self-employed. It just wasn't. He didn't want to be, but he seen what my nono and that went through. And that's my other grandparents weren't self-employed, so it was like went through my nono, skipped a generation, they went back, and then you've got myself and Kirsten that are self-employed. Do you know what I mean? So no, mate, batter in. I think this is good. I'm loving this. I'm loving you being on. Go, keep going.
So, I remember going for job interviews, and you know you always get that question: where do you see yourself in 5 years? Yes. And see, in my head, it was always, not bloody well working for you anyway.
That's fab. It's like you do your one-to-ones. Where do you aspire to go in the company? No anywhere. No with yous. You know what I mean?
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, right, okay, I can't say that because I'm trying to get a job and I need money. So what's your wish for now? So I always just ended up making up some bullshit answer of, oh, I hope to, you know, get to management level and this, that, and all that pish, basically. And I didn't believe a single word of it, if I'm honest. But yeah, and I always remember that. And I was in that job, or in that sort of industry for about 5 years.
Okay.
And then towards the end, I just wasn't very happy. You know, I'm the type of person where I like to look for opportunities and I like to do things better. And see if there's a better way of doing things, I think you should do them.
Oh,
and
see
when you're at a certain level in a company and you're supposed to be a yes person. I'm not a yes person, and anybody who's ever met me will tell you that. Like, if I don't agree with something, I can't hide it.
I'm the same.
But it's not coming from a place of I'm trying to be better and I'm trying to be a smart arse. It's just coming from a place of I think this could be better, you know. And and I just remember always trying to be kept down. And anyway, ended up really unhappy. And I remember one Sunday night, I thought, I'm just going to see what I can do here. And I came up with a company name. Sort of, it happened like a couple of weeks before. But I found some suppliers online, like some big names in the industry, and I thought, I'm going to send them an email. I'll set up an email address and I'll fire a couple of emails. Didn't think anything was going to happen. I did this about 1 o'clock on a Sunday morning, just saying, hi, I'm a new company. I would love to be able to supply you, whatever. And I woke up in the Monday morning and I actually had replies from them.
What?
And I thought, holy shit.
Efficient.
So efficient, right? And I thought, oh my God. So I woke up and I was absolutely buzzing. So I got myself into work that day, and I responded to the emails and I set up calls with them for when I was on my lunch break. So I remember going out and I sat in Pret a Manger in Buchanan Street, and I spoke to these suppliers. And I remember thinking, I literally have nothing for myself right now. Like, I don't have a company name. I'm not established, zero. So if they're willing to give me the time of day right now, what else would they be willing to give me and help me with further down the line when I actually do have something behind me and something to shout about? And then the next week I handed my notice in, as you do.
As what you do, mate.
And
That's why I like it, ballsy.
And I just kind of went for it, because I just thought, if I don't do something about it now, then I never will. And I was in a position where I could take the risk because I didn't have a family, I didn't have kids or anything. I don't have kids, but I think it's definitely riskier, you know, when you've got people depending on you for those things.
Definitely.
But I didn't, so I thought, well, I either do it now or I never do it. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
That's everyone. That's what you said. See what you said there. It was a perfect. There's no right time, but that was the right time for you.
Yeah.
I was the same as you. Like I was trying to do like all my hours in the gym, try to do PT, and it was one of the boys in the gym says to me, Malcolm, he's like, "What are you doing? You cannot keep up with this." And then I sat there and I'm like, right, it's me and Laura. Right, we're going for a mortgage. Right, okay, if I keep X amount of hours, I can still go for my mortgage. See, the minute our mortgage went through, I literally went in with my thing and went, I don't want any hours in your gym anymore. I just want a PT. And I did that. And it's like you say, it's just taking that, but it was the right time because you don't have a young family or anything like that. So like, you'd have that financial risk where you were like, I was the same as you. So it's been brilliant. I mean, your business has went fantastic. It's doing very, very well. So talk to me about, like, you're obviously, look at your beautiful room you're in just now. So like, is this is obviously you setting up in here just at the moment?
Yep. So for the past 3 years, what I've been mobile basically, and I've been going to clients' homes and fitting them there. Part of the reason for that was I wanted clients to feel comfortable, you know, in their own environment, because all my clients up until now have had, you know, they had breast surgery, and quite major surgery. So the last thing that I wanted for them was to, you know, be traipsing around shops and standing in a horrible fitting room with horrible lighting and not feeling comfortable. So I always went to them. But along the way, I've always had people ask me, you know, can I come to you? Like, have you got anywhere? And I never had anywhere. So during lockdown, I thought, right, you know, as everybody else was doing, having a clear out, and I had this spare room, and it was just becoming a dumping ground, and I thought, no, this isn't on anymore. So yeah, I've spent the past couple of months transforming this wee room into a fitting room.
It's brilliant.
So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. So it'll be opening very soon. So yes.
You're right, but like, you get nice soft colours in there. It's obviously like it's really well lit, and that's the thing is it's somewhere for you to have like you. That's what you can do. That's your work area, and that's where all your work is done. And then like I find I'm far more efficient. Like this morning, I went down the gym and I did all my paperwork and my admin, because it made me, I was in that environment, I was just battering through things, doing what I needed to do, because that was my work area. So that's good. But like, and you're obviously, see with that, like fitting, you talk about fitting, but I mean, I'm a guy, so you're probably, see when it comes to you like, fitting, that's not just for surgery, that's for, I'd assume, all women need the correct fitted bra. I mean, I take it some women are wearing the wrong thing. I don't look a guy, don't I? Their chebs are going to be everywhere. They don't know what they're doing. But like, there is obviously going to be there is obviously your expertise. I mean, you must look at it and go about and go. Like, I worked in Slaters, right? Mm-hmm. And this is where I'm putting into this point of view, right? I worked in Slaters, and I'll look at somebody and go, their suit hangs like a bag of shite, right? Now, that's me, but I was really suits, I was kilts, as you knew, I worked in kilts. So now when I go to weddings, I'll be like, look at this. And their like, socks are tied, their skiing doos are on me, they're buttoning things that shouldn't be buttoned, they're wearing a belt when they shouldn't wear a belt. So do you, obviously you can't, you've not got x-ray vision and see people's bras, but you must be able to look, we were talking about earlier on with the whole gym, you must see some people and go, why are you wearing that?
Oh, all the time. It's an occupational hazard, and I honestly think I look like the biggest creep out there, because it is an occupational hazard. Like, my eyes go straight to boobs and bums, and I'm like,
you sound like a guy. You just sound like a guy, mate.
I know, and I think sometimes I am, Chris. Like, I'm not gonna lie, but it's just I do, and I've got a hawk eye for it,
right?
You know, so I look at somebody and I'm like, oh my goodness, like she needs to wear a smaller band. Oh my god, her cups are too small. Like, bet you she's going to be, and I try and figure out a size in my head, like all in the space of like a couple of seconds. I'm like, I wonder what they would be like. She would look great in this bra. And there's so many women who it's not something that they prioritize, and that I'm trying to change people's perceptions and attitudes towards underwear, because it's something that until if you've never been fitted into a well-fitting bra, you never know how good it feels, because that is honestly probably one of my favourite things about fitting somebody is when they've been wearing something that's not been right for them for so long, and then you put them in a bra that feels amazing, that fits them well, and they're like, oh my god. And it's like an instant relief in their face, and not just their face, but their whole body. Like, they hold themselves differently. You know, like their shoulders are back. They're standing upright. They actually feel confident. And they're like, I've never felt like this before. And I know I sound like I'm really exaggerating it, but I'm honestly not, because that's the effect that good fitting underwear can have on someone.
It's like I bring it back to the Slater thing. I mean, you get somebody that maybe wears a suit that, as I say, fits into it. Then all of a sudden, you used to see somebody get like a nice fitted suit. There was just that element straight away, click, confidence. Their confidence came, like a nice shirt, a nice tie. They just all of a sudden their levels of confidence went boom, 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 and it was amazing. It was amazing to see. Do you know what I mean? And like people are like, oh, you getting all him about like, clothes or kilts, but it's the same. Like when I dealt with people with their weddings, with their kilts and stuff like that, they were like, oh, rounded shoulders, and then all of a sudden you put them in a kilt and they felt like Mel Gibson and Braveheart, and you were like, good for you. Do you know what I mean? To me, it was just even a kilt, but like, but it was great to see that you just say that the shoulders back, chest up. They were like, oh, there we go. Yeah. So no, that is brilliant. But like, when you're doing this, I remember you were doing obviously like pajamas and stuff like that. You sort of like diving away from that a wee bit now, would you say? Are you still keeping your foot in there?
I'm still doing pajamas, but I'm certainly branching out more. So I still specialise in post-surgery mastectomy, but I'm branching out into doing just kind of like regular fittings as well, because that was something that I never really did before. Like I only did post-surgery mastectomy, but I've had so many people ask me, can you fit me? And I've always had to turn people away.
Right.
And I'm thinking, why am I doing that? That is mental.
I know.
So that's part of the reason why I've got the fitting room now as well. So what I'm encouraging people to do is, when I'm going to do the fittings, is I'm going to encourage them to come back for a 6-month checkup. So that's going to be part of the sort of package, so to speak, because in an ideal world, women should be getting fitted every 6 months. And I know people will be listening to this and be thinking, oh my God, I probably haven't been fitted in 6 years. But like, there's no time like the present to get fitted. And yeah, and I think I spoke to you about this kind of briefly, but the whole self-care movement, you know, that's been going on for the past kind of probably maybe 3-4 years, you know, when we put all this emphasis on looking after ourselves and, you know, taking care of our well-being. And I think lingerie can be a part of that. It's something that we wear every day.
True.
You know, men and women. It's something that not only protects us, but it supports us. And it's the one thing that is against our bodies all day, every day. And we put such little thought into it. You know, it's very much, oh, I'll fling this bra on, I'll fling these pants on, put your clothes on, you're out the door. But I think that if people become a little bit more conscious of and aware of how does something feel for them, you know, how does that bra feel on you? Does it make you feel good? You know, does it look good under your clothes? Like, how does it feel when you put it on? Are the materials nice? How do these pants fit you? You know, do they give you the look that you want? Have you got a wedgie all day, every day? Because if you do, then you maybe need new pants. Like, are they falling down? Like, all these little things to be aware of that can be, you know, like, if you did have like good underwear, then it really would make such a difference to how you feel and how you carry yourself throughout the day. We all have our little things that make us feel good. You know, one of mine is good underwear and red lips. And I know I was under strict orders from Laura today to have my red lips on.
I'm not going to lie. So I was in the phone to Mandy earlier, just getting everything organised, and Laura went, she better be wearing a red lipstick. It's true, mate. It's true. This is your trade thing. This is your thing, red lips.
But that's the one thing for me. It's kind of like having a game face on. And it's the same with underwear. And underwear is something that is for you. You know, it's for you and you alone, and it's nobody else needs to know what you've got on underneath, but it can make you feel as if you are on top of the world. And if somebody else gets to enjoy it, then fine, you know, so be it.
They're jamming.
But first and foremost, it should be for you, and it should make you feel good. And I do think it's something it is worthwhile investing in.
I agree with you. I mean, I totally get, especially with men. See, with training, like if guys are training, you get yourself a decent pair of boxers or something. You cannot be wearing these ridiculous SpongeBob SquarePants boxers coming into train, because one, things are going to go flying about that shouldn't be going flying about.
You can't have balls flying about.
You can't have balls flying about, mate. And this is the thing. And it's the other thing, like you talk about the element of confidence as well. Back to obviously the suit day, my friend Ross, like his thing, and I still, like, this is his thing. He passed on before he passed away, and it's still drummed into me, is your boxers should match, like your boxing socks need to match. You need to match your shirt and your tie. But he always had this thing where if you're wearing a nice outfit and you're going on a Saturday night or you're going out, you should have decent boxers and decent socks, because that's the way it should be. And that's the thing, like I have like decent socks for like weddings and going out, like that's my nice socks. They're the ones, and saying you get your Calvin Klein's, your Ted Baker box, everything like that. Like, no, that's your good one. You know what I mean? And no, I totally agree with you. Like, but then I'll have people who disagree with you because they're like a box of boxers. You have people who say to you, pants a pant. You're like, well, that's fine, but I know I'm comfier, and I'm not picking my boxers out my arse compared to them. So, no, mate, I think you're completely right.
Nobody wants to be picking SpongeBob. boxers out their arse, really, at the end of the day, do they?
No, it's not a sexy look. I mean, no, mate, this is good. See, we're finding all about you, Mandy. This is what I love. I love finding more about. So, right, I want to know why the name. What made you choose that name of the company? This is why I like going into all this.
Oh my goodness, how did I get the name? So originally, it was actually with my friend Hannah, and we were just, I remember we were actually just kind of stoating about the West End one day. That sounds really wanky.
That
was so
wanky.
I'm sorry.
We just went and we had like a cup of tea and a coffee and a croissant. Oh, shut up.
You know what? I'm not even sorry because I enjoyed it.
At least you have one of the Edinburgh or Glasgow uni student accents.
No.
Oh.
I swear too much for that.
Oh, see them? Look what you do. I recite poetry. Oh, do you? You can fuck off then. So I mean, anyway, right, you were up the West End being a wanker.
Being a wanker, as I was. And originally it was supposed to be French. So I lived in France 10 years ago when I was at uni, and...
Hold on a minute. Right, wait a minute. We have missed the whole you living in France section. Wait.
We can't go back now.
But, mate, get in my DeLorean. Let's go. I'm Marty McFly. You can be Doc, or I'll be Doc. You be Marty McFly. Let's go. How did you end up in France?
I ended up in France on an Erasmus exchange year. So I lived in Lyon for a year, and it was one of the best years of my life. I was drunk for most of it, but one of the best years of my life. Made some of the best friends, that I've still got to this day.
Are they French? Are they real French people?
They're not actually French, no. I actually didn't really mingle with a lot of French people because I spent a lot of time in a British pub with expats. I know.
That's the most British thing you've ever seen. What do you do away? I don't mix with the French. No,
But my French did get better after, a couple of bottles of red wine, and it still does to this day.
Is it still? How is your French now?
It's a bit shite, to be honest. But no, it's still in there. I can certainly read better French than I can speak it.
Right, okay.
Sometimes it does want to come out if I've had a few drinks, and I think I'm going to sound really, really good. And it just probably
pure sexy sitting there, just talking French. Just I
mean, I won't do it right now because I know you'll get too excited. So
I will, mate. I will. It's just one of the things. But no, that's class. See, you totally missed that about it.
I know. So anyway, so going back to the name, originally it was supposed to be Sens, which is sense in French. And then I remember thinking, nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to say it like that. Nobody's going to say it in a French accent. Nobody's going to know what I'm on about, because my first email address that I set up was actually that. And then I thought, Sens lingerie. And I was like, that's not going to work. So patched that. And then I just made it Sense Intimates. And it's just, I don't know, it just kind of happened. But there isn't really, I would love to say, there's a whole great meaning behind it, but there really isn't, to be honest.
Mate, we got the French story out with that one there. That was great. We even get that out. We nearly missed that. I'd be raging if we missed that. I totally forget you lived in France. That's such a cool story. I went backpacking for a year. I mean, I did live a few places, but I think I love France.
I love France. I think, a lot of people don't like the French, but I just think they're misunderstood, to be honest. They get such a hard time.
I agree with you. Although, like, my uncle Tino, who lives in Italy, he's not a big French fan, but he is like whole reasons behind it, like going back to my nono and all. But like, that's a different story. I like the French. I enjoyed. I've been to Paris. I've been to different parts of France. I'd love to go to, like, see when they've got, like, what do you call it? Escape to the Chateau. Like, when they do stuff like that, I'd love to. Nicola and Kirsten's friend get married in a chateau in France. I'd love to go to something like that. I think it'd be amazing.
Honestly, that is the dream. Like, one day when I've sold enough bras, I would love to be able to buy a wee cottage in the French countryside and go to the French markets every day and buy fresh baguette, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. Like, that's the dream.
Oh, it's so good.
That's the dream.
So good.
I know.
See, I loved it. We were in France and it was Sophia wasn't even one yet, and we took her and we had a market beside us, and it was one night we just had like a big buffet with the baguettes and all the fresh meats and all the fresh food, and she was loving it. She's loving all the taste and all that. But it's just so good. Look at it sounding pure cultured. You hanging about up the West End, be doing that. It's all good. Right, let's dive into this, Mandy. Right. I want to get here all about who you know what I'm going to ask you, right? So we're going to go into a couple of topics, right?
Right.
Now, you know this is supposed to be me and you sitting, having a coffee, and like, we'll say somewhere, but it'll probably be the gym. But if I had to make you a coffee, what type of coffee would I be making you?
You would be making me a latte.
Right.
With coconut milk.
Oh,
and
nice.
a shot of hazelnut.
Oh, look at you. You know, I've got shots in the gym. I can do that.
Hit me up.
I can do that, mate. I can't wait to this happen.
However, this is actually what I was going to ask you on this.
Go.
So I have a caffeine curfew, right? Which is actually, I'm a minute away from. It's 2:00 in the afternoon because I'm so sensitive to caffeine.
Okay.
So how would you feel about getting some decaf in the gym?
To be fair, no, a couple of people have asked for that. I just wouldn't be, I need to be powdered stuff then.
Oh, instant.
Well, what, you can't, can you do decaf like beans?
Mate, don't you be serving me some instant powder?
Right, I'll look into that. I've never done that before. Right, I've only just started being a barista. My God, like, goodness sake.
I know. Right, I'm just throwing it out there. I know it's
leave that with me.
Decaf is controversial, I know, but I'm just
do you know, that's actually a couple of people have said to me about curfews with coffee. Sometimes I'm the same. Do you know a big one as well I've found with people's coffee? Some people don't drink coffee because it just raises their anxiety levels through the roof. And I've been there, like, see if I've had like a crazy day. Well, let's just say when Nicola Sturgeon was talking about no opening the gyms, I knew I could take a coffee like after a certain thing, because I was like, I'm just going to be like up the pole. You know what I mean? So, no, essentially it's like, mate, you know, I'm always up for suggestions. God, these stupid pillows. I've actually been looking at, see, because I've had to do this, obviously, podcast in my bedroom for the past couple, seeing a look at who I'd be in bed with for the past couple of podcasts is pretty good, by the way. I could actually just be a theme, and we could just run with that.
Could be. I was going to say something, but I think it'd be inappropriate, so I'm going to stop myself. Wait, no,
Mandy, go. Don't stop yourself. Just go with it.
Chris, don't do that to me.
You're friends with my wife. It's okay. We're comfortable in this situation.
No, let's move on. What else are you going to ask me?
Oh, you want me to? I want to know now. You've got me intrigued.
No.
Oh, God's sake, Mandy. Right. Okay. So I've made you a coffee. Right. So that's fine. We're maybe making a decaf. Now I'm going to get you a pizza.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is a game changer, whether we end a friendship or not. What would you have in your pizza?
You know what I would have in my pizza?
Go.
I would have... I love a Hawaiian.
You're just...
But I want... I change the base to a barbecue. So this is if I'm ordering from Domino's, right? So
right. You know what? Let's just end this podcast now. You eat a Domino's pizza.
Don't
Mandy,
you dare.
Mandy, you eat some fantastic food, you go out for amazing meals, and you're sitting here hitting me with a shitey Domino's pizza.
Chris, you know everybody loves a Domino's.
No, they don't. I don't.
Yes, they do. You're at it. You're at it. I don't believe you.
I don't like them.
Are you trying to say if I had a Domino's delivered to your door right now, you would chuck it in the bin? I don't think so.
No, because I'm a fat bastard. But anyway, but at the same point, I would eat it and be like, I don't like this.
Bullshit. Anyway, I would have a Hawaiian and I would have a barbecue base. I would have extra mushrooms and extra pineapple.
I feel like you've actually came through the screen and slapped me right across the face and went, fuck you. That's basically what you've done to me. That is disgusting.
It's not disgusting. And I'd maybe throw some jalapenos on there as well because I like some spice too.
What is this? What is this?
I'm sorry, I know it's just escalated really quickly, but...
Do you know what? You've went too far. You've just went too far. I don't even know if we can go back for this. Right, now you can make it up to me, right? What we're going to do is, we're going to have a dinner party.
Right.
I can't be at your... I can be there in spirit, but you can't have me as one of the five. I know you would, but who is the 5 people, dead or alive, not physically dead, not coming back as zombies, but coming back in themselves, who would you have as your 5 guests?
Well, do you know, I was actually going to ask, I was going to have you because you've been on at me for years to be making you dinner.
Right,
and
okay.
I was actually going to invite you.
Oh, are you?
I was going to.
Oh, well, I'll fine, I'll come along. That's actually nice. You're the first person I've had me on since I've asked this question, so thanks very much. I'll come along, mate.
Right, okay. So, other than you, I would have Michelle Obama because...
Oh, nice.
Oh, I have the biggest girl crush on her ever. I just think she is amazing.
So they are, which I think makes her more sexy because she's just you just wouldn't mess with her. She's just amazing.
She's just, total girl crush. So I would have her. I think you could have a good giggle with her as well.
Aye.
I would have, this is controversial, I would have Kim Kardashian.
Oh, no.
Why not?
Because she's just an arsehole. Although, Kim, if you would like to come on the podcast, feel free.
Well, I don't think she's going to take you up on your offer now.
She's not, is she? No. I'm not a fan of Kardashians. I just don't like them.
I would like to see her up close. I would like to see what she's actually like up close and, whether you could see any surgery things and whatever else. And the next person I would have is Sarah Blakely, who is the founder of Spanx.
Oh, right, okay.
So I follow her on Instagram. I think she's quite funny, but I just think her story and how she got started and the business that she's built and the kind of culture of the company and everything, I think is just amazing. Like, it's very aspirational. So I would have her. I would have Oprah Winfrey, because who does not love Oprah? And she also has an amazing podcast. Obviously not as good as yours.
It's obviously a shite compared to mine.
Obviously pish.
No, Laura was listening to Oprah the other day. She is amazing. Like, I love women that are doing, like, I think it's new, like, 6 or 2 girls. I'm just like, you're like, I want you to see, look at everything, like, what you can do. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But I'm quite like woman power anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, hence, because there's loads of female members at our gym and stuff like that. So, and I was actually watching how many people are viewing my Instagram the other day, and it's more women than anything. Do you know what I mean? So you're always better. Women are, I mate, women all the way. What's that?
All the way.
Boobs. Boob power.
And I've got one more. I know that makes it 6.
No, you can put me out. I don't mind. do you know what? I'll eat the leftovers.
I would quite like Tom Hanks to be there. So I was kind of thinking, right? I was like, I want to have a male, but I couldn't decide. I was like, do I have somebody who I would find really interesting and who I quite admire? Or do I have somebody who I would just like to sit and look at? And
so you've got me there just to sit and look at.
Oh, yeah.
And then you've got... No, Tom Hanks is class. That's who I would look at you like that. Oh, did I mean that? Smooth, though. It was very smooth. Tom Hanks is a good one. I like this one.
I like Tom Hanks.
What's your favourite Tom Hanks film?
Oh, my goodness. Sleepless in Seattle.
I like Sleepless in Seattle.
It's a classic.
I love Big, though.
Big. He's just... All his movies are so good. Forrest Gump, You've Got Mail, Philadelphia... Green Mile, like, all of them are just amazing.
I've never watched Philadelphia all the way through. It's a film I've seen the beginning of it and I can't remember what happened and I never got to finish it, but that's a shout. I might actually watch that. That's when I was sitting there and that Philadelphia came up in my head and I'm like, you've not actually seen Philadelphia? So,
It's very good.
It's very good. Mate, this is some very good ones. I like your dinner table. But now, obviously, we had Connie on last week, and you're on yourself, so another fantastic guest. What we're going to do is, it was a great wee topic we came up with, and it was very off the cuff, asking Connie what type of books she liked reading, or things that maybe she thought would inspire others. Now, this can be from things like an autobiography to like maybe a self-help book to even just a book, a fictional book that you thought, do you know what, it's a really good read. Doesn't need to be, by the way, it doesn't need to be inspirational. It's just your pick of books. So go and give me, I've not got a set number on this, by the way. Right. Just don't have 40. Like, give me a couple of books that you would recommend to the listeners.
Okay, so... I've got 3 off the top of my head. I've actually got 2 here, In fact, they're all here because I'm sitting in front of my bookcase. But I've got 2 and I pulled them out to show you.
Oh, look at you. You're so
organised.
organised.
I'm so organised. So the first one it's called The Happiness Project.
All right.
By Gretchen Rubin.
Right.
And I remember reading about this book, and I remember seeing it in Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam a few years ago, and I thought, I need to read that. And it's basically about this woman who, it's non-fiction, and she embarked on a happiness project, and it was basically about looking at all the different areas of her life and basically trying to find happiness. So we get so caught up in day-to-day life, you know, and you end up in a sort of, you're not very conscious of what you're doing. You know, you go into autopilot and you do things, and all too often things kind of get on top of us, and you forget to find happiness in little things. You know, we forget to be playful. You know, sometimes we forget to have a laugh, and we forget to relax, and we forget to be present and enjoy time with people. And that's just a tiny little part of it, but that I found that really good and really,
I like that.
Kind of gives you some food for thought. So I'll give it to you, and you can.
Oh no, don't! I'll just buy it because I'm a mother. I'll never give you it back. I'll just. No, see that's. I'll pull it about that. I'll pull it about. Seeing people go, I'll give you. I'm like, no. What's the name of it? What's the cover? Right, cool. I'll go and buy it because I was like, I'm this mother. Right, go next.
So the next one is a book called "Girl, Stop Apologising" by Rachel Hollis.
So I just picture her saying, "Girl, stop apologising."
That's exactly how I say it in my head too.
Is that how you say it?
Yeah, that's how I say it.
Right.
And she is a sort of like, she's built an amazing business as well, but she kind of does a lot of like motivational speaking. Again, I follow her on Instagram, and this is why I got her book. So this book is about the first section of it is all about excuses that we make as women. So, for example, things like, oh, I'm not going to do that because that's not what other women do. I don't have enough time. I'm not good enough to do this. And things that we basically tell ourselves, like, oh, I'm not a good enough daughter. I'm not a good enough wife, you know, and things that people go through every single day. And like, she puts her own personal experiences into it, and they were so relatable. And I remember reading it. Do you know what I mean? When you like drink up a book, and you're reading it and you're thinking, holy shit, like I totally get what she's feeling and what she means. And I think, you know, we're always comparing ourselves to people, and reading that makes you realise we're all the same. You know, it doesn't matter how big your business is and what you do for a living, or whether you have a family, whether you're married or on your own or not, we still all have the same worries, you know, and the same thoughts. And it's quite comforting. It was quite a comforting book to sort of read that. But what she did was she covered each of these excuses, and then there was like three things to help you change those behaviours.
Oh, see, that's really good. I like this.
So it wasn't just, oh, here's my story, this is, you know, this is what I think. It was like, this is what I did to try and stop these negative patterns of thought and all of that. And that was really interesting as well.
Oh, see, I'd love that. That's a big thing I'm trying to really work on, is that. And it's like you said, it's like people doing the same thing as you, and you sort of compare yourself. And that I've now, like, I don't follow a lot of people because I'm like, stop comparing yourself. Like, just try and be you. Yeah. And that's what I've done, and that's part of the reason I've changed my Instagram into a blog, because I'm like, I'm just going to be me, and if people unfollow me, I don't care, because they shouldn't be following me anyway. And that's really good actually. Oh mate, this is 2 books, but they'll I keep saying girl. I don't know why I keep hitting it, girl.
You're going to change it to boy.
Boy stuff. This is good. So 2 good books so far. You've got another one. What's your other one?
So another one, I don't know if I was going to talk about this one, but it's called Postscript by Cecilia Ahern.
Okay.
And you'll have heard of the book P.S. I Love You, or the movie P.S. I Love You.
Yes.
It's Gerard Butler and Hilary Swank.
Yes.
So this
apparently is a very good book. Terrible movie, but very good book.
I thought the movie was all right. Is that not the consensus? I quite enjoyed
it. I heard the book was amazing though.
The books are always going to trump movie. Very rarely do movies trump the book. Very rarely.
This is, we're talking about Tom Hanks.
Mm-hmm.
This, and I picture Tom Hanks is, what's his name? Is it Langford in Da Vinci Code?
Yes.
I picture Tom Hanks as him, right? All the way, even when I was reading it years ago, years and years ago, when I was like 18, 19, I always picture Tom Hanks as a guy in the Da Vinci Code, and he played the role. Amazing. Movies, meh. Didn't rate the movies.
I think I watched one or two of the movies, but I definitely preferred the books. I remember devouring the books. I remember that in high school.
Oh, see, you're younger than me. I forget this. We don't talk about that.
Not that much.
Aye, what are you?
31.
34.
Mate, getting on. Getting closer to 40.
As long as I can get that George Clooney look, man, the grey hair and all that.
You're getting there. Just don't shave that beard again.
Goodness sake.
I know, I give you such a hard time about it, but you just don't look like you when you do.
Sophia was looking at pictures earlier, and we were putting pictures up on the wall, and she went, Daddy, why do you look so different? And I'm like, okay. All the women in my life seem to slate me for not having a beard. Right, that's fine. Right, go. So your third book then, so this is the same writer as P.S. I Love You?
Yes, and this is I think I said prequel, but it's actually the sequel. Okay. And I read that during lockdown, and it's a very, very, very sad book. I actually probably cried my way through it. So basically it's about a group of people who are terminally ill and they come together and they create this group because they want to write letters and leave letters for their loved ones. So basically in the same sort of way that, you know, kind of Jerry did in P.S. I Love You, and they wanted to kind of emulate that for their loved ones, but it really brought up a lot of questions of, you know, when they were doing that, the things that they were doing it, were they doing it for themselves, or were they actually doing it for the loved ones that they were going to be leaving behind? And it really, it really gave a lot of food for thought.
I like a bit like
but it was very sad, very, very sad, and I actually had to take a break from it.
Really?
Yeah, like, because I get so upset, and I was like, I think I took about a week off of not reading it before I could go back.
Wow.
So I know, but yeah, that's one of them. I know it's not a very cheery one, but it's...
No, this is what I love about, because this is the whole idea. It's giving people books to reading in general is amazing, and this is the whole thing. It doesn't, like, I'm the same. Like, I found myself getting absolutely scunnered with like self-help books and books to try and motivate and business books and stuff like that. And it was Laura that said to me, she's like, here's that new one, but was it Richard Adewadi? How do you say his name? He was in the IT crowd.
I know who. Yeah, I can.
You know who I'm on
him.
about? I can't remember how to pronounce his name. But she's like, I'm going to get you that book. You need a wee break away for some stuff like this, and I'm getting that an audio book to go when I'm going out walking and I'm cycling and stuff like that. Just to, like, I've read like Atomic Habits, Chimp Paradox. I'm reading 59 Seconds. All these amazing books which are great, but I don't feel I'm absorbing them the way I should be. So no, I like that, but like you said, it's something completely different. It's just a wee bit different, but you still got stuff from it. It was food for thought for you.
It was, and it's definitely going to be a book that sticks with me. Because I'm actually looking at my bookshelf right now because it's right in front of me, but I've got, see all those books that you mentioned, like the Chimp Paradox, I've got Tony Robbins books, and I think, see, when you start the journey of becoming self-employed, you need to become your own biggest cheerleader. And I think that's something that's quite common in terms of you look for help, basically, and you're looking for help from these books to try and like G yourself up and motivate yourself and, you know, build your confidence. And but there comes a point where it does become tiring.
Yes.
And you kind of, there's so many messages coming from all these successful and amazing people, and then you get to a point and you're like, I can't be arsed listening to this anymore. You know, because it's you can't be constantly learning all the time. And I think that books like the Cecilia Ahern books, I love a chick flick book, and I love books that are just completely removed from everyday life and learning and being an entrepreneur and motivating. Sometimes you just want to get lost in a story that is absolutely nothing to do with everyday life and you, and that's it, you know, and it just takes you away for a few hours.
Aye, not 100%, and that's the thing. Like I love reading the girls' bedtime stories because they're just nice, wee stories, wee happy stories, wee happy endings, and it's nice that like getting lost in it. 'Cause sometimes I'm reading their books, and I'm like, oh, I wonder what happens next. How
Yeah.
does how does that elephant get out of there? Do you know what I mean? It's like, but it's fun and it's enjoyable, and it's something that, as you say, being self-employed, your brain is always going, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just something that just allow you to switch off and go and do things. That's the best thing about it. Mandy, I've loved
Yes,
this.
me too. I've
I've
really
really,
enjoyed
really
it.
enjoyed it. I would, do you know what I'd like to do? I'd like to get like you and a couple of people and do like a wee, when I get enough mics. I'm a wee bit
Mm-hmm.
skint now, but when I get enough mics, or we could do it through Zoom. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to do something that like a table chat, and I'd love to get you involved in it, and just have like a small group of people, and just have I think there we go. We've came up with another thing to do in the podcast, but I think we could do that because I've really enjoyed this, and I've enjoyed like your stories and where you've came from, where you're at now, and I've also enjoyed your books. I'm really interested to go and see this. Although you can absolutely get to fuck if you think you're ordering a pizza.
But have you ever thought about the fact that maybe I put all that stuff in the pizza just so I can get one to myself and I don't need to share?
Oh, oh,
I mean,
this is why you're a successful businesswoman. This is why. I mean, okay. Touche, my
tactical.
friend. Touche, my friend. I will not touch your pizza.
Right,
But
okay.
Mandy, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for
I
having me.
can't wait to get this out. And oh, there's Sophia came in. Perfect timing. So, Mandy, thanking you, and I will see you soon.